commit to one thing and invest in processes, in systems, in team, and make that business basically absolutely predictable to the point of boredom.
Hi, I'm Michelle Bosch, real estate investor, mom, wife, and host of the InFLOW Podcast. And I'm passionate about helping women invest in land and apartments. Join me each and every week for real estate investing strategies and interviews with thought leaders that will leave you inspired and ready to step into flow for inflows of cash, inflows of ease, and inflows of grace in your life. Now, here on YouTube are the video versions of my podcast, and in order for you to get my latest information, please go ahead and subscribe. And now, let's go.
Welcome to the InFLOW Podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Bosch. Excited to be here with you guys today. We are looking at probably by the time this gets released, probably sometime in early March. It's actually February for me still at the time of this recording. And I thought it would be very valuable to you guys to come to you with a topic that I have been using and exercising discipline quite a bit in over the last week or so. So the first 50 days of 2020, were incredibly amazing, productive. They were go, 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 go. And there was a lot of movement in my life. And in that movement, a lot of opportunities came my way. Opportunities for which they're wonderful opportunities. And I do have, I think, a superior skill, a superior, they're part of my genius. But that at the end of the day, I had to basically decline invitations to participate in a couple of things. And the reason why I declined is because they were falling into what I call the category of shiny objects. Yeah. And I want to expand a little bit on this shiny object, because this is a shiny object syndrome, I think is an epidemic that all entrepreneurs suffer from. It's so incredibly hard, to focus on one thing, to have the discipline to focus, and repeat something and iterate on something until you build, through that repetition, you've built mastery. Very easily, when we start something and something starts going really well, we don't want to keep on that repetition and on that repetition until we obtain mastery. Things start working so well that we kind of stop doing that. And I don't know if that is something that you've ever experienced, but perhaps you've experienced, maybe following a specific, diet or a specific set of actions to get you to a deal. And that started working so well that deals became so predictable and so, happening like clockwork that you got bored. And I think that's the biggest risk with us as entrepreneurs and as investors. In real estate, there's so many ways to skin this cat that we can very easily get distracted. And I think it's in our nature really to be curious, and that curiosity and that desire, and that need for growth, for learning new things, I think is one of the main key pieces of why we bring such incredible service to the marketplace, but also could be the reason for our biggest demise. It can work both ways in that, we're incredibly creative in solving problems and solving those problems in the marketplace. And that requires curiosity and learning new things. But at the same time, in order to sustain that service that we're bringing into the marketplace, we need to focus on making that solution predictable, for both sellers, for buyers, for clients, for whatever it is that you're doing. And in that predictability, can come boredom, because, you're doing something over and over and over again. And so I think at this point, is when you have to kind of recognize and realize that if we are to build predictable businesses, for example, in the land business, if we want to create, a predictable land business, we need to invest in and commit to one thing. There's going to be other aspects of real estate out there, fix and flip, probate, multifamily, whatever. But my biggest recommendation, which is something in exercise that, like I said, I just went through right now myself, is to commit to one thing and invest in processes, in systems, in team, and make that business basically absolutely predictable to the point of boredom. Yeah. And when that starts to happen, I think that's when your team should kick in and ensure that the predictability continues and you continue to deliver in the marketplace. And and for whoever your main stakeholders, and for many of us it's our family members, that want the predictability to know that we're going to be having freedom of money, of time, to spend time with them, to put our families first and center and foremost, in our lives. And with that predictability will come a little bit of boredom. I want to call it boredom, but it will come basically this aspect of repetition, but that you don't have to be involved in it 100%, once you have mastered and once you've brought in a team. Once you bring in a team, you have mastery and you've brought in a team or someone that can help you become the head to that horse, that will give predictability and sustainability, that allows you to go and start looking at new things. But even when looking at new things, and that's the biggest thing, even when looking at new opportunities, I want you to always use an opportunity filter of asking yourself two questions. Number one is, does it align with what I'm already doing? And that's number one. And is it, does it align? Does it mesh with my unique ability, with my genius and the genius of my team? And if it doesn't, I would say, to have the discipline to say no. Because sometimes a lot of these opportunities end up being what I call, and I like to call these, especially, for my husband, we have a lifetime partnership of work, relationship, and collaboration, in our businesses. We work together. And I always tell him, that whenever he sees an opportunity like that, and I see them too, that we need to be careful not to jump onto a carousel. And what I mean by jumping on a carousel is like, if you go with your children, to the fairground, and there's a carousel, and it's wonderful, and it's got horses, or it could be, I don't know what theme it could be, and it goes up and down, and you jump on the carousel, and you go for like that wonderful 3-minute ride, a spin, and it's awesome, and it's all cheers and smiles, and you've had a wonderful ride. But then the carousel comes to a stop. You get off the carousel, and you're in the exact same spot. And I want to bring that analogy a lot, into businesses, in that sometimes, we're working on something, it's working really well, then we see something else, and we go run and jump on that carousel. But at the end of the day, we get off that carousel and we're in the exact same spot financially. And so I want you to be mindful of that and be careful, with jumping on such carousels, and rather, commit to one course, follow one course till the very end, have mastery, bring in, software, bring in team to help you scale, to help you have continuity, stability, predictability, and have heads to that horse before you step and decide to, commit into something new. And it requires, like I said, a lot of discipline, but in my experience, simplifying our attention and our focus has been incredibly, incredibly helpful in terms of allowing us, to multiply. Because we all wake up, at the end of the day, every morning, you wake up and you have, so much of a tank of time and of a tank of energy. And you need to be very mindful and very discerning of how you're using, your tank of energy and time for the day. And you don't want to be completely, disintegrated and in a million different projects and in a million different directions, but you don't want to be diluted, is what I'm trying to say. And so you want to focus on the one thing that is going to move the needle forward the most. Don't think that because you're moving in busy movement that you're moving forward. Sometimes we're moving sideways. We're not moving anything forward because we're so divided in our attention. It's incredible what focus can do, what creating a framework for yourself can do. And that framework can be, an asset class. It could be that you want to focus on land, or, a specific type of land only. Maybe it's only info lots. Maybe it's all three, but maybe in a specific geographical region of the country, and so on and so forth. And you want to basically gain incredible mastery over that one aspect, because what that's going to bring you is a big power to really move that business forward and really bring your goals forward by not being diluted and disintegrated in 100 different pieces of things. So think about, I know Sophia in the past used to like to go bowling, and oh my God, when we first started bowling, we were really, really terrible. And somehow, somebody there at the bowling alley said, "Oh, perhaps you should get some little bumper pads, and for the lane." And I want to say that is something that we need to do, not just when bowling, but in everything that we do. Is we need to create for ourselves little bumpers, little frameworks of a lane. Pick a lane, create that framework, and stay in that framework. And whenever opportunities do show up, because they will show up, pass them through that filter of like, do they, does this opportunity right now align with what I'm already doing? How does it align with what I'm already doing? And does it align with my unique genius and that of my team, if you already have a team? And if it doesn't, I would say, and if it's still a good opportunity, perhaps you need to hire someone from the outside, to become the head to the horse, to continue exploring that opportunity while you continue gaining mastery over your domain, over the one lane that you have picked. Yeah. And so that's what I wanted to leave you guys with. And I hope this was valuable. It's something, like I said, that I just went through myself right now over the last few days. I had a little bit of downtime, and I had a little bit of moments of time of reflection and of clarity. And I realized that even though those two opportunities that had been presented to me were, fantastic opportunities, there's definitely a growth potential there, but they didn't align, and that they would have been really pretty much a distraction from what I'm doing and what I'm trying to accomplish. And they would have constituted, for sure, I would have poured my heart, because everything that I pour my heart into, I give it my all. I'm 100% there. I'm all in. And so something great would have come out of it. But I know that in the main thing that I'm trying to create, which is freedom for me and for my family, I would have probably done a few steps back by following, those shiny objects. So let's keep the main thing, and happy focusing, in this first quarter of the year. There's still time, to pick a lane, to get going, and to, invest in yourself and gain that mastery that comes from repetition, the ability to collapse time by looking for mentors outside of yourself. I right now just renewed mentorship with a couple of my mentors as well. I knew that those two opportunities to, when they came to renew, were definitely aligned with my unique genius and with what I'm trying to accomplish and what I have already going. I know that those two, big investments are going to really, bear quite a bit of fruit. So I went for it, and I'm focused. I am a diligent, slow, committed learner that loves predictability, that loves sustainability, and that also enjoys, of course, the curiosity, the rush that comes, with new things, with new projects, with new goals. But that I have also come to understand how important it is to recognize, to pick one lane, to focus on one thing, bring it till the end, bring it to the finish line before you start something else. So with that, if there's things that are right now, eating at you in time, in energy, in bandwidth, in headspace, worries because you're not getting to all the things that you want to do and all the projects that you want to do, give yourself permission to basically to let go of some of those and focus on the things that are going to bring your biggest why into reality, that are going to make that why and your dreams come true and manifest them in real material things, whether it be hard cash in your bank, a new house, a second home, private schooling for your kids, time with your elderly parents or with your young children, whatever it is, just keep that why the main thing, and don't go diluting yourself out there. And let's all go for mastery. So very few people, go for mastery, and mastery can only come from focus. So thank you so much. I would greatly appreciate a 5-star review if you liked any of what you just heard right now during this episode, or any other episode from the InFLOW podcast. It definitely helps me, be found and go up in the ranks in terms of the rankings here on podcasts, on iTunes, or wherever you're listening to this, and help me reach many more people. And until the next time, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you very much. Bye.
I hope this episode left you feeling inspired and ready to get inflows of cash, inflows of light, and inflows of faith in your life. I welcome your reviews on iTunes. Please leave me a review and help me create an amazing community of women in flow. Thank you, as always, for sharing your voice by going to michellebosch.com and joining the conversation about this show. And while you're there, grab a copy of my 10 Commandments to Living a Life in Flow. You can also follow me on Facebook at Michelle Bosch and on Instagram at Michelle Bosch Official. Thank you very much, and until the next one.